Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Office Bloke Daz.
I'm Office Bloke Mike.
Here we are, two of us.
Yes, we are.
Safety features that exist because people died horribly. It's like when they put things on, like batteries do not drink the contents and stuff because someone's obviously done it. So that's why they have to put it on there, don't they?
I'm guessing things like 3-pin plugs are in here because the ones they have these days are really, really clever because you have to push them in, then they don't connect to the metal until some plastic bits inside are moved, apparently.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a lot more complex.
Well, this is right
than
on
I
your
thought,
street, isn't it? Because this is health and safety.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like me, I dive in and then read the instructions and then go, oh, shit.
Yeah.
First. And then... exactly. I did that once with a washing machine. I was wiring a washing machine. And then I realised something happened. I left it plugged in and took the wires out the back.
Yeah.
Turned around, it touched the wall. Fucking massive explosion. Like, not explosion, but a massive bang. And I thought, how lucky was I there? I thought I'd switched it off, but I hadn't.
Yeah, I tell you what, electricity.
I know.
Don't mess with it.
I know.
If you don't know what you're doing, honestly,
I normally don't. But it was just one of them things.
I pretty much wire a plug up, but just leave it to the experts.
Yeah. But sometimes you got to have a mess around, haven't you?
I guess so.
Live on the edge.
Yeah.
Let's get into this anyway.
Let's get right into it. Number 8, the trunk release handle. That glowing handle in your car's trunk exists because of some really dark stories. Back in the 1990s, getting trapped in a car trunk was basically a death sentence. You'd either cook alive in the summer heat, freeze to death in winter, or slowly suffocate, and it happened way more often than you'd think. Kids would play hide and seek in the worst possible spots, or criminals would force people into trunks during kidnappings. Once that trunk slammed shut, you were pretty much done for. In 1995, Jeanette Fennell and her husband were coming home one night in San Francisco. 2 guys with guns forced them into their car trunk at gunpoint. The criminals drove them around, robbed them, and left them trapped in the trunk. Jeanette started feeling around in the dark. She found a cable that, when pulled really hard, popped the trunk open. It was pure luck. That cable wasn't meant to be a release handle. After surviving, Jeanette started investigating trunk entrapment cases. Hundreds of people had suffocated or baked to death in car trunks.
Wow.
Many of them were kids who accidentally locked themselves in while playing. In the summer of 1990...
That's mad, that. Do all cars have that?
I've no idea. I've not heard this
I've never
before.
seen anything in my trunk that we could... I would imagine you won't get many people in mine.
Well, no, I was going to say,
getting
why
golf
people,
clubs in.
I was wondering why people go in a trunk anyway, but I get it, like kids from hide and seek, I sort of get that.
Yeah, hostages.
Hostages, yeah.
Yeah, if you're kidnapping someone, somewhere put them in it.
Yeah, well, yeah, I suppose so, yeah.
I've heard that. I read once that someone got kidnapped, put into a trunk, and they unwired the brake lights.
Yeah.
Or took the brake light out, took the light out, so the cop would pull them over.
Ah,
the light was out.
Clever.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
1998 alone, 11 children died in car trunks during a heat wave. The car companies fought back against adding release handles, saying it would cost too much. That too much was between 20 cents and $4 per car. In 2001, the government made trunk release handles mandatory in all new cars. That little glowing handle has saved countless lives. It exists because people died horrible deaths, and one angry survivor wouldn't take no for an answer. Number 7, the dead man's switch. Imagine you're driving a train in the 1800s. You're chugging along, carrying hundreds of passengers, when suddenly you have a heart attack. Your lifeless hand falls off the controls, but the train keeps going. There's no one else in the driver's cabin. You've just turned into a ghost train, barreling down the tracks at full speed. This exact scenario happened way too many times in the early days of trains. Engineers would have heart attacks, strokes, or even fall asleep, and their trains would keep on rolling. Sometimes these ghost trains would crash into other trains. Other times they'd derail at high speeds, turning into a twisted mess of metal and screaming passengers. The solution was the dead man's switch. The train driver has to keep constant pressure on a pedal or lever. If they let go for any reason, the train automatically stops. In 1918, a horrible crash happened in Brooklyn. A train operator had a seizure. His hand slipped off the controls, and the train derailed on a curve. 97 people died that day. It was one of the worst train accidents in American history.
Wow. I didn't know about this, about the dead man's switch. They have to keep the foot on something.
Yeah, I think over here it's normally on the when they operate trains and trams, I think it's something on the lever or on the top that they have to press, like a button on it that they have to press, Which, yeah, I sort of knew about Dead Man's.
Yeah, because you thought it'd be a bit like a jet ski. You know, like you have the cable.
Yeah.
When you fall out, it pulls the key out type thing.
That's it. Stops the power. Yeah, exactly the same thing there. I mean, you don't want one on a plane or anything, do you? But I mean, anyway.
You're all going anyway if that's the case.
Yeah.
But the other side is trains nowadays. I'm surprised we haven't got driverless trains already. It seems like the most. It seems a bit out of date that we have drivers on trains because it seems the easiest form to sort of like
automate.
To automate.
You think so?
Yeah.
They're on tracks. They ain't going anywhere else.
Yeah.
You know, all the signals are automated and things like that. So, very good point. That. Yeah.
I just thought we were a little bit out of date with that.
You know what the union's like. They will talk about fight against it. It'd be absolutely diabolical.
Mind you, by the time it takes one of them to get to a meeting, probably I don't know. We'll be into the next decade anyway.
Well, the train probably late and probably miss it because of that anyway.
They could do with getting uniforms that fit them first. That's a start. Right?
After that, dead man switches became mandatory on all trains. Train operators would try to outsmart the system. They'd stick a broom handle in the lever or tie it down with rope so they could take a nap. Railway companies had to keep making the switches more complicated. Modern versions require random actions at random times. If you don't play along, the train stops. Today, dead man switches are everywhere. That lawnmower you're riding stops when you get off the seat. Even Tesla cars have a version of it, forcing you to touch the steering wheel every few seconds while on autopilot. Number 6. Oval aircraft windows. The oval windows on airplanes exist because in 1954, 3 planes literally exploded mid-flight, turning into confetti at 30,000 feet. These planes were called the de Havilland Comet, the world's first commercial jet airliners. They were beautiful machines, super advanced for their time, with one tiny problem. They kept breaking apart in midair. The windows on these planes were square. Corners are really bad at handling stress. Think about when you tear a piece of paper. You always start at a corner because that's where it's weakest. Now imagine that same principle, but with a metal tube flying through the air at 500 miles per hour. Every time the plane went up, the cabin would pressurize, making these corners flex slightly. Then when the plane landed, they'd flex back, up, down, like bending a paperclip back and forth until it snaps. Eventually, these corners would develop microscopic cracks. At 30,000 feet, where the air pressure outside is a third of what it is at sea level, these tiny cracks were devastating. The whole plane would tear apart like a tin can in a blender. The first comet exploded over India. The second one over the Mediterranean. The third followed the same fate. Investigators built a giant water tank and repeatedly pressurized and depressurized a comet fuselage until it failed. That's when they discovered the problem with the corners. The solution was to make everything curved. Oval windows distribute stress evenly around their edges, like an arch in architecture. No corners means no weak points. No weak points means no exploding planes. Number 5. The Hyatt Regency Walkway Collapse. The Hyatt Hotel had fancy suspended walkways, like floating bridges inside the hotel. The original design was like a stack of paper clips hanging from one long string, but during construction, someone changed it to hanging paper clips from other paper clips. The engineers who approved this change didn't do the math right, and in engineering, bad math equals dead people.
Yep.
On July 17th, 1981, during a dance party at the hotel, the walkways were packed with people. The top walkway suddenly gave way, crashing onto the walkway below. Both then crashed onto the crowded lobby floor. 114 people died that day.
Wow.
Even the original design wasn't strong enough. This disaster changed everything about how we build things today. Now, when engineers want to change something in a design, they need multiple people to check their math. Every time you see multiple signatures on a construction document, that's because 114 people died at the Hyatt Regency. Number 4. The Radium Girls and Modern Workplace Safety. Back in the 1920s, women worked in factories painting watch dials with radium paint.
In Manchester, you do a tour of Manchester.
Yep.
There's Radium Street. I think it's called Radium Street or something like that. It's where what they used to do. They used to paint the dials. We were saying here on the warplanes.
Yeah.
So they could read them at night. So they'd like
luminous.
Yeah. And what they used to do, they used to lick the tip of the pen and paint. So they were all dying from it. Sort of thing from I guess radiation.
Right, from the stuff inside it. And,
yeah. But there was a factory in Manchester that did the same. That's how I know about it. I did a tour of Manchester. Yeah. There's loads of stuff you find out about your own city.
I'm sure, that you don't know.
Yeah. And I found this street. I think it was called something like Radium Street or something. I was like, I've never even been around here before.
Yeah.
I even found some houses in the middle of the centre.
Oh, really?
And I was like, why have I never seen these before in my life? Yeah, bizarre, but that's probably what you're going to tell the story.
Interesting.
To make them glow in the dark, the company told them the paint was totally safe. They even said it was good for you. like a radioactive vitamin shake. The painters used a technique called lip pointing, where they'd put the brush between their lips to get a finer point. Each time they did this, they swallowed a little bit of radium, and radium has a half-life of 1,600 years. Once it gets in your body, it's there forever, constantly irradiating you from the inside. Their teeth started falling out. Their jaws literally crumbled away. Some girls' bones would break just from walking upstairs. Others developed massive tumors that would glow in the dark. When they tried to sue the company simply delayed the court cases until the women died. But the few survivors kept fighting. They showed up to court in such bad shape that some had to be carried in on stretchers. The public was outraged when they learned what happened. This led to some of the first workplace safety laws in America. The company knew radium was dangerous the whole time. The scientists who worked with radium used lead shields, tongs, and masks. But they decided protective gear for the girls would be too expensive. After all, they were just factory workers. Number 3,
Right?
the Titanic's missing lifeboats. The Titanic could carry about 3,300 people, but only had lifeboats for 1,178. That's like having a fire escape that only goes halfway down the building. Back then, the number of lifeboats required was based on a ship's tonnage, not passenger count. These rules were written when ships were way smaller, but nobody updated them. It's like using your great-grandpa's pants size to buy your clothes. The ship's designers actually planned for more lifeboats initially, but they thought too many lifeboats would make the deck look cluttered. They chose aesthetics over survival. That's like removing your car's airbags because they don't match the interior. The ship's owners were so confident in their unsinkable design that they saw lifeboats as decoration. Over 1,500 people died when the ship sank, many because there weren't enough lifeboats. This disaster led to the creation of SOLAS, the Safety of Life at Sea Convention. Now ships must have enough lifeboats for everyone on board, plus extra inflatable rafts. They created the International Ice Patrol to track icebergs. Ships now need 24-hour radio watches too. The Titanic's radio operator was off duty when nearby ships tried to warn them about ice. That's like turning off your phone's tornado alerts because you're trying to take a nap. Number 2, modern school bus design. Back in the early 1900s, kids were riding to school in wooden boxes on wheels. These early school buses were just regular trucks with some benches thrown in the back. When these things crashed, they'd splinter into pieces like a poorly built IKEA cabinet. The death toll got so bad that in 1939, they held a national conference. Engineers gathered to study horrible accidents and figure out how to stop kids from dying on their way to math class. That's when they created the tank-like design we see today. Those high-backed, closely spaced seats are called compartmentalization. It's like egg cartons, but for children. If the bus crashes or flips, kids bounce around in their little compartments instead of flying through the windows. The windows are designed to pop out easily because there used to be a time when kids couldn't escape burning buses.
It's funny, the yellow bus, the yellow school bus.
Yeah.
I've only ever seen it in the USA.
It's fairly iconic over there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because that seems to be the only bus there is, like those big yellow ones.
Yeah.
And that's it, and they're all the same.
Yeah.
But
Whereas,
over here, it's sort of like normal, sort of like everyday buses from the local authority, isn't it? If they do
school
have them.
buses, your regular schools don't have a school bus.
No.
That I know of. You just have to get public transport.
I think some of the bigger schools,
Some of the private schools,
some private ones.
Yeah, because Aidan went to a private school and he got a bus. You have to pay for it; it's not free.
Yeah,
but it's he got a bus, but it was just like a coach.
Yeah, that's right.
It's like a coach that used to pick them up, and they'd stop at certain spots, and you had to get to that spot in the morning.
Yeah.
You didn't pick them up outside your house.
Yeah,
it was to a certain spot.
That's right. Yeah,
but But I see a lot of them going around now. These like companies with like double deckers as well. And they sort of like double deckers, but they're all the private schools. The public schools don't get anything.
No, not
it's
at all.
public transport, and that's what you got to use.
That's it. Get there your own way, isn't it?
And because the idea was zoning it so you'd be close to your school. It doesn't work like that anymore.
I'm guessing in the US is it because there's maybe bigger distances between the school and sort of like the actual housings.
Yeah, I would say. Yeah, it's a distance thing. But even now, I remember when I come back, one of the reasons Aidan went to school because we applied for the local school and they said it's full. And I went, yeah, but he's living in this area. That's the closest school. He went, send him down there. And it was like 6 miles away. I went, well, send him to school 6 miles away.
Wow.
When there's about 10 schools between here and there.
Yeah.
And I said, he's here. He lives here. That's his school right next door. Goes to that school.
Yeah.
And there's people coming in on trains and everything.
It's absolutely mind-blowing, isn't it?
Yeah,
it really
the school
is.
system over here is just ridiculous.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah. But it's funny. That's the only place I've ever seen school buses like
that.
that.
Absolutely, yeah. Iconic, like I say, aren't they?
Iconic yellow color is actually the most visible color in bad weather and dawn or dusk conditions. They picked it after too many cars plowed into school buses they couldn't see in time. The automatic stop sign that folds out was added after kids kept getting hit by cars while crossing. Modern school buses are basically rolling monuments to every kid who didn't make it to school. They're the safest vehicle on the road, but only because they used to be the deadliest. Number 1.
Well,
The Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire and exit signs. Those glowing exit signs in every building exist because 146 people died in one of the most horrific workplace disasters in history. On March 25, 1911, in New York City, the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory was a sweatshop where hundreds of young women, mostly immigrants, made clothes. The owners had locked most of the exit doors to prevent workers from stealing fabric. When a fire started in a scrap bin, the flames spread rapidly. Workers rushed to the exits, only to find them locked. They were trapped in a burning building, desperately pulling on doors that wouldn't budge. The fire escape collapsed under the weight of escaping people. The elevator could only make 4 trips before the heat warped the shaft. Workers faced a terrible choice: burn alive or jump. People on the street watched as young women began leaping from the 9th floor.
Wow.
The firefighters' ladders only reached the 6th floor. Their nets ripped when multiple people jumped at once. Bodies hit the sidewalk with such force that they splintered the concrete. One witness said, "I learned a new sound that day, the sound of a body hitting the pavement." That sound repeated 62 times in less than 10 minutes. The factory owners survived by escaping to another building from the roof. They were tried for manslaughter and found not guilty because the jury couldn't prove they knew the doors were locked. This disaster led New York State to create workplace safety laws. Buildings now require multiple unlocked exits during work hours and regularly tested fire escapes. Modern exit signs have backup batteries, use red color visible through smoke, and are placed low on walls because smoke rises. Those 146 people died horrible deaths, so we could have something we take for granted today. That's all for today.
Some interesting ones there.
That was absolutely horrendous, that last one, wasn't it?
I was in a shop probably about 2 months ago, and
Yeah.
it was quite a big superstore sort of thing. It wasn't a grocery store or anything. I was selling sporting goods.
Yeah.
And I was talking to the guy who was helping me, and I said, "Hey, good job. There's no fire in here, eh?" He went, "What do you mean?" And he had a bar across the door, and he went, "Oh shit." And he went, "Don't say anything." He went, "Oh, he went blood red." And he went, "It's
Yeah.
my job to take them off." He said, "I've just missed it." And as he's taking it off, his boss came round the corner,
Yeah.
and he went, "Oh, you forgot about that again, did you?" And he went, "No." He said, "I'm just reminding myself there, you know." It's
Yeah.
And he sort of like made some excuse sort of thing, but took it off. But he had the bar across the door, I guess,
Yeah.
at night because there's no one there.
Right, so
So in the
extra-
morning, it's his job to take it off.
Extra
and he's-
security, but
Yeah.
if you forget, it's
Yeah.
it's a huge thing now, isn't it? It's, fire safety and things like that, because we're all over it in this country as well, aren't we? So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, well, I only pick up on it because of you.
yeah.
I wouldn't know any of them.
Pecking at your head about
going,
it.
Yeah, we need this, we need to do that.
I've
You've
got to test
that.
this.
Yeah,
Got to
it's
test
just-
that.
Yeah, some guys coming into trainings on something
Yeah.
I've never heard of.
But these tragedies, though, I mean, that shows you how these things are needed, though, because
Yeah.
if it wasn't for that, then that would have happened again and again and again.
Well, even
Keeps
today,
happening.
I never use the kettle in the office, right?
Yeah.
And today the machine's broke that gives me hot water, so I had to use the kettle. And I turned it away from. Someone's got it, so he's pointing at all the switches.
Yeah.
So the steam rises, and he's getting condensation and water, sort of like evaporation
Yeah.
into the switches. So I turned it round the other way today. So I don't know
Right.
if you noticed when you use the kettle, the
Ah,
kettle's
right,
facing the
okay,
opposite
yeah.
way because I moved it
Keep
away.
the steam away. You see?
Yeah,
You see, you've
Health
learned
and safety.
something. You've learned something after all.
I know. I was a bit selfish really because I'm thinking if that fucking steam goes in there, my computer's going to blow and go out.
Wow.
anyway.
Dear
Good,
me.
that, interesting.
But yeah, very interesting.
Yeah.
Some of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hope you guys liked it as well. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.
Cheers.
Cheers.